Hi everyone, you're welcome to another episode of Diary of the Doctor's Wife. I'm your host, Iyawo Doctor, and I'm super excited to be sharing another episode with you. And for this episode, we're going to be talking about dealing with alone times, whether in marriage or in a relationship with a busy spouse. So if you're just joining me, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Osomwonken Josephine Omoniyi. I do a lot of things. I'm a clinical psychologist, a life purpose coach, a mental health therapist. But for this series, I'm talking about my experience as Iyawo Doctor. Iyawo means wife of a medical doctor in the Nigerian Yoruba language. So thank you for joining if this is your first time. And if this is not your first time and you're joining, you watch episode 1 and 2, thank you once again. So for this episode, we're going to be talking about dealing with alone time. So alone times may be when your spouse is on call or is away on shift or just basically not around. What do you do? How do you stay connected? Basically, how do you survive and deal with these kind of times? So stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back to episode 3 of Diary of a Doctor's Wife. So basically, it's going to be very, very short, but I want us to know that it is possible to still live a purposeful life, a purposeful marriage or relationship, despite not always having your spouse around as you want. Okay, in my previous videos, I shared the fact that you need to accept the situation and commit to making sure that both of you are intentional and happy in your relationship. So as a doctor's wife, it is very possible, it's inevitable for you to have times when your spouse, whether the husband or wife or your partner, is on call, meaning that it's either a 24 hours call, your spouse won't be around for 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours, sometimes even a whole week. So your spouse wouldn't come home after work. Your spouse will be at work for a certain period of time. Or you have a spouse that always travels, and how do you deal with those alone times? How do you deal with the fact that you don't have anyone to talk to physically, and if you're married, you don't have anyone to cuddle, or just having all those physical intimacy? Sometimes, not having anyone to gist with when you come back from work. Just picture the image. You're coming back from work, or if you work from home, it could be lonely. Just things like that. So how can you deal with such times? And I have a couple of things here that I wrote that would help you navigate through those times. So first thing I wrote here is that you need to get busy. Oh yes, get busy with something. So what are you doing? So as for me, I mentioned I have a couple of things I'm doing. I'm a clinical psychologist. I see patients online, physically. I have online courses. I do a lot of volunteering. So I am busy. So that's is a kind of good distraction for you, because if you're not doing anything, you have a lot of time on your hand, and you're thinking, oh, what is my husband doing at this time? What is my wife doing at this time? Why hasn't she called me? Why hasn't he called me? Why hasn't he responded to my text? And you just while away time, and then you're getting upset or sad, or you'll be questioning your own self. So it's important that you get something doing, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you have your own business, or you're doing both. Please get busy. It is important. Get busy with work, get busy with your business, get busy with your career. It could even mean get busy with your own personal growth. Are you taking courses? Are you teaching? What are you doing? Because your spouse, your partner is living their lives. You also should live your life. When people say we get married and then you stop living, no. In fact, marriage should be a propeller. Marriage should be like a catalyst to you discovering more of yourself. Of course, you should have discovered yourself before getting married or being in a relationship, but marriage should help you push you forward. All right, so first point is get busy with the right thing. That way you fill in the gap with that alone time. I remember certain times when we'd make appointments, that's my husband and I will make appointments or arrangement to go somewhere, and then something just happens, like a colleague at work is sick and then he has to fill in, or he's supposed to come back from call and then the surgery was elongated. And so what do you do at those times? If you have something doing, of course you would feel pained, but you can always get back on track and plan another day. So first thing is you need to get busy. Second is build a community or join a community. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I remember before I got married, I was in a certain location. So moving here, it was kind of lonely. All right. But I was intentional about building a community. So based on what I do, some of you don't know, I'm also a milliner. I make bridal accessories, fascinators, and all of that. So I joined a community of certain people doing those things where I am currently. All right. I also joined the community of business owners where I am. So I'm intentional about what I'm doing so that I do not always remember that, oh, my spouse is not around. What am I doing? What am I doing? Join a community. And if you don't have any community, build one. Yes, it is possible. All right. Build a community or join a community of like-minded people. So if you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, can you join a community of stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dads, or build one? So the most important thing is that you're connected with people who are going where you're going or doing certain things that you're doing. So that way you can relate with them while your spouse is busy. All right. Another thing I know that has helped me is hobbies. Engaging in hobbies. As a matter of fact, I don't know, should I say revamping my hobbies now? I'm looking for new hobbies. But you need to participate, engage in hobbies. What are those things you like to do? Do you like to swim? Do you like to read? Do you like to exercise? Do you like to sing? Engage in hobbies. It's still part of being busy so that you're able to manage those alone times. Remember, we're talking about dealing with alone times. So you're participating in your hobbies. If you don't have hobbies, learn new hobbies. As at now, I want to learn how to ride the bicycle. All right, because I'm looking for new ways to engage my mind and engage my physical body. So, participate in hobbies. If you don't have hobbies, please look for hobbies. All right, don't tell me that your hobby is staying at home. Go out. All right, even if you do like to stay at home, but it's also important you engage with other people. Engage in hobbies. Go outside, meet people. If you're at home, try to draw something or craft something. Discover new things about yourself. It's an important way of dealing with the alone times. All right. So another thing I would say is staying connected with your spouse. Despite the fact that your spouse is not around or your spouse is far away in another country, take for example, someone may be listening to me now, your spouse may be a soldier or your partner may be a soldier. Deployed to another country. I know it may be a bit difficult, but how can you stay connected? Look for ways. Every relationship is unique, but how can you stay connected? For me, like I mentioned in my previous video, episode 2, go and watch it. All right, when I talked about communication styles, we do a lot of chatting, we do a lot of voice notes, we do a lot of checking-ins. Oh, how are you doing? No, I'm fine. Have you eaten? Yes, always ask me if I've eaten. All right, have you eaten? What's for dinner? All of staying connected. So that way, even if your spouse is not around physically, you still feel each other. So you're staying connected with your spouse is another way for dealing with the alone time. Another thing that has helped me is family. Ooh. My family, as my immediate family, they are very helpful. My sisters, my parents, they are very helpful. So even when I feel a bit lonely, I just said, doctor is not around, oh, they are calling me or they are doing a video call or they're, oh, how are you, what's up. So that way they've kind of closed the gap for me. So having people in your circle that can be with you around those times is very, very important. Even if there is a physical meeting, that's fine. All right, family and friends, who are those people that you've identified that can help you during such times? Very, very helpful. So we have the getting busy, building or joining a community, engaging in hobbies, very important. We also have staying connected with your spouse during those times. Staying connected with your spouse. Oh yes, it's not easy. Iyawo Doctor, my spouse is not around. He doesn't even pick calls. In fact, I heard a story where this particular partner was getting married and then he wasn't released until a day to his wedding. All right. And where he was, I think phones are not allowed. So it was quite difficult. So I think what the lady did was she wrote letters. So the most important thing is you're looking for ways. Don't give up on your relationship. Don't give up on your marriage. There's a purpose for that relationship. All right. So look for ways you can stay connected with your spouse. You're engaging in hobbies. You're socializing with friends and family. Very important. Socialize. Don't keep to yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Don't say this is how I am. I don't know how to make friends. Learn. You can learn social skills. Start with your local community. If you go to church or you go to a religious institution, start from there. Start from saying hello after service. Start from your neighborhood. Do you even know your neighbors? Don't keep to yourself. It's not mentally healthy. And of course, I would say seek support. If you find out that the loneliness is too much and you don't know how to cope, please reach out. Like I mentioned, I'm also a therapist, so we can help you learn certain coping skills to deal with loneliness. All right, so you learn how to be in your own space, socialize with people, just making sure that you don't lose yourself in the process. And the final point I have to say is have the right attitude. Have the right attitude. Once you have the right attitude, you're good to go. John C. Maxwell said, attitudes are colors to life. So what's your attitude? Are you always using black? Are you always sad, angry, gloomy, black and red? All right, but have the right attitude towards life. Have the right outlook towards your marriage, towards your relationship. Understand that your spouse want what's best for both of you, and you also want what's best for your spouse. So these ways have, they've helped me deal with loneliness in my marriage. I want to hear from you. What are the different ways that you have practiced any of these ones, or do you have anyone that I haven't mentioned that you practice that is helpful in your relationship or marriage? I want to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening up to this point. Remember, my name is Iyawo Doctor, and thank you for the comments and the encouragement and for everything. So I'll see you in my next video, episode 4. Please like this video, comment. I want to hear from you. Share. Do you know someone who's in a relationship or marriage like I am that is a busy spouse or engaged or married to a busy spouse? Send them this video, and of course, subscribe. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.